talk about this
Mm-hmm.
before we get to the other part of it. Because I mentioned Xia Li would be better off in Ring of Honor. Uh, but I feel like this man, Scott D'Amore, who was actually released or fired, whatever you want to call it, from TNA after he built it back to being TNA. Will Ospreay went on record saying that he would love Scott D'Amore in Ring of Honor and believes that he could be someone to really elevate the product. So, Sarah, I agree with Ospreay here. I loved Scott D'Amore. I want this so bad. It's Ring of Honor is one of those things where I'd watch it, but it's an access issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as easy as just going on YouTube TV or
Mm-hmm.
Peacock or whatnot. Like you have to go to Ring of Honor on your computer, and if you have to pay for it, whatnot. Um, and it's right now it's just a another indie to me. That's what it gives off that feel. It's just a bigger and corporate indie promotion.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have that feel that it did with, the Kevin Steens and Genericos and the Briscoes and, the Bullet Club, all that, that elevated to where it is. It just doesn't seem like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy to really elevate it is Scott D'Amore.
I think, yeah, I mean, if they're going off of things that he's done in the past and how he was able to help TNA, and if they're trying to get Ring of Honor to kind of be like how it was at one point, where it really was almost like a third company, with WWE and TNA, then I would say, yeah, do what you can to make it that way that it used to be. But it also is a thing that Tony owns Ring of Honor, does he not? So it's like that's going to be a thing too. Like he might not want it to be bigger than what it is for all we know, because maybe he doesn't want to make a competitor kind of. But I feel like he could utilize it in the same way that like NXT in a different way, because obviously NXT is developmental. You don't have to use Ring of Honor in that way, but you could feature people who are willing to do a couple shows with Ring of Honor, but not sign an actual contract to AEW. Like that's a way that they could bring in some hot Japan talent or indie talent, and they're still sticking to what AEW likes to do and how they like to run their shows. So to me, that makes sense. I think it is just going to be a matter of what Tony's plan is with Ring of Honor, because it didn't necessarily feel like when he bought it that he was really trying to do anything with it. It was like, haha, I own another wrestling company. I want to own their
Them all.
backlog, like everything, like he was trying to buy everything. There was talks of him trying to buy New Japan. So it
There
felt
are, I remember
more,
those.
yeah, so it felt more of like he was just trying to like monopolize the wrestling industry. And so if that is really all he was trying to do, then I wouldn't count on any of this happening.